Welcome back to the GameSpot stage here at E3 2015. It's day 3, but that doesn't mean we've got a shortage of games to show. Oh no, we have got Batman Arkham Knight, and joining me on the couch, here we've got Sefton Hill from Rocksteady Games. Hello, and Ian, who is the lead, sorry, what was your role? The
lead designer.
Lead designer and the game director. So, you know, the guys to talk about Batman
That's
Arkham
what we
Knight.
say anyway.
That's on your business card.
Yeah, that's right.
So guys, you brought a live gameplay demo for us so we can see the game in action.
Yeah.
Do we want to hop in?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump right in. We'll show you the size and spectacle of Gotham City right there.
It's pretty big.
This is running on PlayStation 4.
Yep.
And one of the big things we're going for is to create a world with all of the detail and richness and love that we had in the previous games on a much bigger scale than ever before. You can see, diving right in, you can see how much texture and life there is in the world.
Yeah.
It's a really big thing for us. Obviously, introducing the Batmobile as well is the other big key feature we're showing. And you'll all be playing in under a week. So you can see here, streets are really populated with thugs. The story is basically that Scarecrow's threatened the city with a chemical weapons attack. And it's part of a ploy from all of the supervillains working together to take down Batman. So they decided, following the death of Joker at the end of Arkham City.
Spoilers for Arkham City.
Sorry,
there.
spoiler, they totally spoiled the game.
I mean, if you haven't played it by now, first of all, what are you doing?
Exactly, exactly. You deserved it if you hadn't played it by now. Yeah, so the game follows those events, and following the events of Arkham City, you've got this period now where the supervillains are all, with the removal of Joker, that chaotic factor's gone, and they've decided if we're going to get rid of the Bat once and for all, we all need to work together. So this is a coordinated attack by all the different supervillains on Gotham City, which is why it's populated by all of these gangs that have moved in following the evacuation.
Yeah. So what are we going to be seeing today? So right now we've just seen a little bit of action, a little bit of gliding. But I understand you guys are going to be showing off something that we've never seen in Arkham Knight before.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to show off one of the crime scenes that are around the city. So Ian's going to jump in the car. You can see anyone near the car gets blown away. This is the most wanted wheel, which is a really important part of the game because this is where you select what you want to do. One of the things that Cash has told you about is that there's a mysterious body in the city. So when you go to GCPD, you meet Aaron Cash, you meet Gordon, and they'll tell you about this mysterious body that the forensics team or the police discovered. They didn't have time to investigate. It was just really strange. So Batman's going to go and investigate this crime scene.
World's greatest detective has to do some grunt work.
Exactly, he needs to do some hardcore detective work. It's always been a big feature of the Arkham games, the detective side. So this is a bit of a murder mystery, if you like. There's these bodies planted around. Oh,
that was really nice, sort of like using the momentum of the Batmobile to sort of propel yourself forward there.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the game, is kind of mixing up the car and the gliding and perfecting those two skills together.
Yeah.
So here we have this body here.
Yeah.
Batman's talking back to Alfred. If you see, there's writing on the floor as well.
Oh, flawed. Okay.
It's a mysterious body that he finds. So Batman's going to investigate.
Let's check it out.
And the game is fairly dark, to be honest, because it's the culmination of all 3 games, because it's the kind of epic conclusion.
I mean, that's the thing about Batman, is that, yes, he is a superhero, but really in the dark sense of the word, in that Gotham is not like the airy-fairy kind of, oh, you know, save me, save me. It's, you know, it's a cartoon, it's a comic, but it's dark.
Yeah,
like, you have to read, some of the comic books, especially, just get to really, really weird, dark, twisted places.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our inspiration comes from there. So just while Ian's looking at this, as he's scanning around the body, he's looking for clues. You can see the scanner that he has can look through different layers. So he's looking through the material at the skin layer, something strange about the ear, so Batman's going to scan that and identify what's wrong with that. And what's happened here is he's found the body. All the distinguishing features of the body have been stripped off. So he's now looking for a way to identify who this is. You see on the left side of the screen, there's 2,000 matches for that ear deformity, for that specific ear deformity. And Ian's scanning around to find if there's any other elements of that body which are going to narrow down and allow Batman to sort of pinpoint who this is.
So we've gone through the skin level, and now we're sort of really going into the deep tissue here.
Yeah, that's deep tissue now. The muscle layer, the deep tissue layer, and then we can go one layer further than that as well and actually look to the bone. You can move between those 3 layers looking for clues.
Oh, so that guy swallowed a ring.
So he swallowed a ring, and that's part of his story. And you'll unravel the story of these victims throughout the city. And you're looking kind of for what interconnects them. There's a serial killer loose in Gotham.
So can I pick up this mission like at any point, or
Yeah,
is it
so-
just triggered by
yeah.
a certain story mission?
Yeah, so basically one of the great things about moving to, next gen, I call it next gen, current gen now, is all of these things exist concurrently in the city. So
Yeah.
anytime you want to go and investigate, you're going to come across things like this. And actually, if you listen carefully here, again, it's not something we talked about before, there's this really distinctive opera music playing. And as you're moving through the city, if you hear that opera music, that's a good indication that there's something around to find.
Ah.
And you'll kind of use that audio clue to track this down.
Yeah.
And actually, you would have seen on some of the trailers we released before, some of the gameplay trailers,
Yeah.
you would have heard as Batman was gliding around,
A
if
bit
you
of
listen
opera.
carefully, a little bit of opera music kicked in, and that's a clue as to where some of the victims are.
A clue that
so-
something nefarious is going
Exactly,
on.
definitely. Yeah.
Just quickly, I mean, I forgot to ask this question earlier, but while they were going through that database, who are those people? Is that the development team, family and friends?
Could be.
Could be. Could be Gotham City residents. So where is the investigation taking us now?
So basically, we have a number of bodies around the city. Ian's going to have a look to see if we can find any others. But the great thing about the Batmobile is where it can go. So it's
Yeah.
not like any other normal car. So we're going to investigate up here and see if we can jump across, even onto the roof of this train station. See, there's ramps around here.
Yeah.
And the great thing about the car is the way it's so maneuverable and different to any other vehicle you've played in any other game. You can
So I
see
see him switching into battle mode there to kind of really just get that turn.
Yeah, so if you look at how tight the movement is across here, battle mode allows you this really precise movement, smashes through objects,
Yeah.
and allows you this very precise, specific movement throughout the city.
Yeah.
So it's something really different, and then you can go back instantly between battle and pursuit mode.
Yes, because it's just holding down the
LT
trigger.
at
Yeah.
any time, yeah, LT, L2 at any time. See, there's loads of secrets around the city
Yeah.
as well. So if you come up here, you bring the car up here. You need the car to blast through these walls. So lots of the secrets require you to use a bit of the car and a bit of Batman
Yep.
as well. And even the remote control in a Batman. So the remote control in the Batmobile allows you to use them as two separate entities to solve loads of these puzzles. We'll show you something else really cool here with
Yeah.
the Batmobile.
So we just briefly saw there Edward Nygma, obviously not one to be a bit lazy and just let other people cause trouble.
Yeah.
He's leaving stuff around the
Oh,
city.
he's
got
writing,
Riddler.
yeah.
He's got his Riddler racetracks as well.
Yeah.
Where he's just determined to get one over on Batman.
Yeah, we can show you a bit of the racetracks as well. If you want to see a really cool move here, actually, is that you attach the grapple to a building.
Yeah.
You can actually drag the car up the side of the building. So, again, I don't think that's something we've ever shown in a live
Yeah, no,
demo
I don't think I've
before,
ever seen
so,
that. That's awesome.
It's a really cool feature that you have to sort of think about the car very differently to
Yeah.
any other vehicle because it's so multi-purpose. Because it is the only vehicle you get to use, so
Yeah.
we wanted to make it the best vehicle, I guess, in any game ever. That was like our challenge that we set ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
So
if
we're
you wanna
just
see-
gliding over the vast, like, how big is Gotham City now compared to, I guess, the annex of it that we saw in Arkham City?
yeah, so Arkham City was big. Gotham City is at least five times the size of Arkham City. And while keeping that same density of detail and care and love in each square meter. So as you can see here, the richness of the level, it's something that could only be done PlayStation 4, Xbox One, it's something that can only be done on these new gen of consoles. See everywhere we go, look at the textures on the ground, the richness. You mentioned about Riddler, we can even, as we're right here now, we can go in and have a look at what Riddler's got around for us. So we have he's basically challenged Batman to come to these different areas.
Yeah.
In fact, actually with this one, if you come here early, and we were talking before about how everything exists in the city concurrently, if you discover this for yourself, and if you're watching this video, you'll get a good idea of watching us play, and you'll get a good idea of where to go. You can come here before Riddler's even ready for you.
Oh, brilliant.
And he'll give you a little chance to play this first track before he's even actually set up what are the big stakes for the day, which he explains all a little bit later. So,
all right, so we're just descending down into the sewers now.
yeah, completely seamless. So everything in the game is seamless. There's not a single loading screen in the whole game from start to finish. And that's really important for us as well because we want the world to have that lovely, coherent, consistent feel.
Yes.
And every time you hit a loading screen, it takes you out of that. It makes you remember you're playing a game. So,
I mean, there's no point in trying to be the Batman, I guess, if you're constantly pulled out to a screen.
and you remember that you're playing a game and getting loading hints and everything. So yeah, we pushed that even further than we've ever done before. Seamless streaming throughout the whole game.
So I feel like we're being lectured a little bit. Maybe Riddler's making fun of us. And now this is the racetrack.
Yeah, so these are Riddler's challenges, and some of them are more racetrack challenges,
Yeah.
and some of them are puzzles where you have to hang the Batmobile. Well, I won't spoil them. Some
Okay.
of them are really intricate puzzles where you're using both. This is the very first one, so it's kind of an introduction.
Yeah.
And you'll see how it develops and evolves as you race around as well. So Riddler's basically taunting you. He'll use any opportunity to try and taunt you. He's
To get in your
he's
head.
getting in your head all the time. And actually the Riddler story in the game, again, without giving too much away, is something that is really interesting where that goes. He has a bigger role than he's ever had before. And it's a lot more than just collecting the trophies. There's a whole arc that Riddler has.
Because he's always sort of been on the fringe, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
Not,
I mean-
not really directly causing chaos,
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
but taking part in it. And now
Yeah.
it seems like he's really getting into the
Oh
fray.
yeah, he's getting his hands dirty this time. I mean, he's hell-bent on revenge. For those who played through to the end of Arkham City and actually got to the final denouement of Riddler's arc, you'll know that Riddler's really annoyed and really wants payback for what happened at the end of that game. So he's gone to a really extreme lengths to get his revenge.
I really wonder how he's funded all this. It seems like quite an over-enthusiastic way.
We do actually explain in the game partly how he even built these huge constructions.
Yeah.
He's had a little mechanical help, it would be fair to say.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how he's built these crazy huge contraptions. And you can see, as Ian's playing through here, how the level's manipulating and changing as he races through. And every lap he does, it gets more and more difficult.
So what would happen if I were to fall off, if Ian were to fall off right now?
Yeah, so what happens if you do crash? Here we go, we'll show you.
Oh.
We do a very quick reset to
Yep.
get you back in. So we don't punish you, it's just, you lose a bit of time because it's all
Yep.
against the clock. But boom, you get to go again very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's an important thing. Look, we want to keep it generous. You know, big thing for us is making sure everyone gets to enjoy the game as well.
Yeah.
And then the more you play, obviously the harder it gets. And some of the later Richard challenges are really, really tough. Some of the toughest stuff we've ever done in the whole game.
So we see here we're on lap 3
Lap
of
3,
3.
and it's
Things
getting
are getting
super
faster,
tough now. You can
furious.
see how quick you got to go through these things. You'll see the floor detonates below Ian here.
Oh,
so
wow.
he needs to kind of ride over the top of the loop.
Oh my god. Doing remarkably well. You only died once, and that's because I told you to.
I know, he's played it once or twice before.
I imagine. I imagine.
So it helps when you've
Oh.
designed a lot.
Oh.
Oh, look, I gave you the big
So
build-up.
close. I feel like I jinxed that.
Yeah. So driving along the wall, switch in, and then the last big challenge to hit the last big ramp,
Yep.
move the wall out of the way mid-air, so that wall, skip that out of the way, but then put the landing platform back in.
Perfect.
Boom. And then
12
that's
seconds
it.
to spare.
Yeah.
So you see, we've got more Wayne Tech points, upgradable trees. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because that's the great thing about Batman is that he has all these abilities, all these great gadgets, all these things that he can use in his arsenal to take down everybody in Gotham.
Yeah, so Ian's showing you a little bit of this here. This is the upgrade system, and you can upgrade the Batmobile weapons, combat, the bat suit. There's a ton of upgrades in the game, more than we've ever done before.
Yeah.
And you can, if you go back to Batmobile, while you're here, some of the coolest ones, if you go one down into the afterburner recharge, you've also got the eject one up. You don't quite have enough upgrade points for it,
No.
but the eject is one I definitely recommend you get soon, because it allows you to fire Batman even higher up out the car.
Yeah.
And just glide and transition from being low down in the streets to high above the sky is great. And every mission you play, every most wanted mission you play, gives you upgrade points.
Yeah.
So if you're hunting down Scarecrow and you feel like you need a helping hand, if you feel like you want to upgrade the Batmobile or Batman, then go and do some of the most wanted missions, and you can quickly boost up Batman when you play through.
But it's not only the Scarecrow or Riddler that we have to worry about. There's a new adversary in town, and one that you guys actually came up with.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the Arkham Knight.
Yeah, so the Arkham Knight, it's a huge privilege for us to be able to create a new character in this universe. It's someone who we wanted to complement Scarecrow, because Scarecrow's the psychological threat. He wants to tear apart the myth of Batman and Batman's psyche, but to do that he needs some muscle. You know, he needs someone who can confront Batman as a physical opponent. So the Arkham Knight is that. He's someone who commands this huge militia force, this huge drone army, and the two of those team up together are what provides such a tough challenge for Batman. And it's kind of it's sort of strange in the sense that although it's our most epic game ever, it's by far the biggest game we've ever made, with the most content we've ever made. the story is our most personal story we've ever told. Like, this is an attack on everything it means to be Batman. They want to destroy the myth of Batman. So it's a very much a much more like Arkham City. We went for kind of an ensemble cast, and for this, it's a really focused, dedicated attack on everything it means to be the Batman. So it's, in a sense, an epic game, but there's quite a lot of the Arkham Asylum DNA in this game as well.
I mean, one of the things that we haven't really seen in Arkham Knight, and obviously the game's out in a couple of weeks, is the claustrophobic Predator Room style gameplay. But you have got things like the fear takedown, so we know that those elements are definitely still in there.
Oh, they're in there, and it's one of the things that we kind of wanted the players to experience for themselves quite a lot, because they're so dynamic. Those things change every time you play, and that's actually something that the Arkham Knight really brings to the party, is that we have an adaptive AI system, and as you play those rooms, he studies the tactics you use. So if you're doing silent takedowns, he'll tell his guys to buddy up. If he sees you moving around in floor grates, he tells his guys to start mining the floor grates and searching in the floor grates. So if you use a tactic too much, he notices that and starts counteracting your tactics. So you have to kind of switch your tactics dynamically as you play. And one of the things we don't like, so the enemies are also more aggressive. They also have sentry guns they deploy. So if they detect that you're doing too many takedowns in an area, they'll deploy a sentry gun to block that off.
To try and make you switch things up. That reminds me of the excellent, I mean, it's one of my favorite boss fights ever, is of course the Mr. Freeze boss fight, and that you can't use the same thing twice. And I believe I know what's going to happen here. This is an example of your dual play. Yeah,
that's right. So we have Nightwing here as well. So one of the big things is Catwoman, Nightwing, and Robin fighting alongside all three of those at different points of the story. Nightwing's working with you, taking down Penguin's weapon caches, so you get these great dual team moves. So boom.
Oh, there you go, take them out in midair.
Yeah, and when you do the dual team move, you switch between the characters as well.
Was it nice to be able to like welcome these faces back again as playable characters?
Yeah, so this is the first time they've been fully integrated into the story as well. So previously what we've done is we've had them in challenge maps, but now seamlessly, as you saw here, Ian drops straight in through the skylight into this Penguin weapons cache, and immediately Nightwing joins in, and the two of them are fighting alongside. And you'll get that dynamic system of moving between them throughout the game, and it adds a new element. It's definitely still a Batman game. So like that's the key thing. It's all about Batman, and it's about the way Batman interacts with these other characters. But getting to play them and getting to feel like Batman working alongside them is a big part of being Batman, right?
Of course. Well, Stefan and Ian, thank you so much for bringing Arkham Knight onto the Games on stage. Cool. When is the game out? Because it's really soon. Yeah, that's right. One of the great things is E3, you're normally waiting a year to play stuff, right? Well, this is out next Tuesday, June 23rd. Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Guys, make sure you stay tuned here at the Games on stage at E3. More awesome demos coming right up.